Yes! Yes, baby!
Hey everyone, this is Wolfrun, and I'm going to be talking about a way me and one of my friends we've managed to get ourselves several wins playing a tactic which
Yeah.
may well be one of the most toxic tactics in Warzone. So the aim of this is not a high kill game. The aim of this is not to demonstrate loads of skill at Warzone, but to show you can win when neither of you are all that great. We're average players at this game, but there are ways you can do and play the game that you can outthink your opponent. So, the tactic itself is based on using the helicopters. It's not going to work in solos at the moment, so no helicopters, but we're in duos and I'm going to show you 2 games using the tactic. But the principle is quite simple. Grab a helicopter right from the start. You've got to pick according to your map which ones are the most accessible to you and which ones you think you can get. So you get a helicopter. The second thing is you want to need to get money. So scavenger contracts at the moment attract a lot of people dropping on them. We found it quite difficult to do this tactic with scavenger contracts.
Yeah.
You could get a helicopter, then try and find a scavenger that no one's picked up from the initial drop. But actually, we found most wanted pretty good. So what we now do is pretty much grab the helicopter and then grab most wanted. Then effectively you fly around and you get the most wanted money. You can get picked off by homing launchers, but generally we'll try and pick up another helicopter. Doesn't happen in either of these games, but it does happen, so you have to be careful of that. As soon as the most wanted is done, we've got the money to get our loadout generally, because we've done try and do a bit of looting. Most wanted on the first run won't give you quite enough for a loadout, but even with a little bit of looting you should have enough to do it. So we then find ourselves a buy station we can get to with the helicopter relatively easily, buy ourselves a loadout. This first one, we buy the loadout, but we don't throw it down in this area because frankly we took too long in this area anyway, and you're at risk because you're pretty much out in the open. And so what the plan is to grab the loadout and go somewhere where it's a bit safer to drop it. So we've got the loadout and then we're going to head off. In this one, we head off to the airport control tower. The aim is to get to somewhere where you can't get to without a helicopter. So top of airport control tower, can't get there unless you need a helicopter or you're flying back in from the gulag. Top of airport, you've got to be careful because as you'll see, airport's overlooked by the airport control tower. Stadium's good, but you've got to be careful of watching the side of stadium that face out onto downtown because you'll be hit by snipers. You can still be hit by snipers on the other side if they're pretty good and sit on the hills. Same as airport control tower. Just because you're high up doesn't mean you're safe actually. You can get good snipers who will overlook you. We grab the loadout. We've then got our loadout. The next thing to do, if we've got the money, and sometimes we have the money, sometimes we don't have the money, you'll go get munitions box, armor box, and things like that. You need a gas mask for the end circle. It's the only way the tactic works. So in this particular game, loadout, and we always go for 2 loadouts because I want my 2 overkill weapons to start with. So we'll buy a loadout and then I'll grab my second loadout. You don't have to do that. You can actually save your money and do other things because you're going to need Ghost as a second loadout. Frankly, my view is Warzone. You basically need Ghost perk in order to function and survive the majority of the map. I know if you're a really good player, you might be able to do without it. By all means, do without it. But Ghost is pretty vital, I think. Even if you're doing this tactic, because the helicopter, of course, can be seen on the minimap when you're using it, can be seen when you're not using it as a stationary helicopter. But my first loadout, I want it sniper. It's the FAL with the new buff, because frankly that gun shreds up close now. And I'm running a pretty much standard. You'll see loads of loadouts for it, the HDR with variable zoom. Now I'm not a great sniper. You see, I'm not holding myself out to be a high kill gamer in Warzone. It's good fun, good playtime, but I'm not top tier. I'm not even going to pretend that I am. But the reality is, this tactic has allowed us to get several wins without having to go crazy on the kills. So as you can see, following those kills on the loadout, we managed to pick up some more money, and I'm going to drop down, grab some stuff that we need. I'm pretty sure my friend's already got the gas mask, but either way, you both are going to need it if you're going to do the end circle with this. But we also pick up armor boxes, munition boxes if we have the opportunity to do that. Equally, if you're flush with cash, you can do all sorts of things with the kill streaks, get a cluster strike, get an airstrike, anything like that is absolutely fine. But the primary thing is load out, then get your gas mask, then you got to make sure you got enough armor and munitions to get this sorted. Again, we basically sit on top of airport. I get it, it's a camping. I get it. We're not, pushing around the circle. It's not a pinwheel rotation. It's none of those things, and it isn't. I'm not holding it out as one of those things. A good sniper, no doubt, could probably take us off the top of the airport, and that didn't happen in either of these games. I can assure you, there are equally plenty of games where we have lost. There are games where we've got into the final 10 and not succeeded with this tactic. It goes wrong, but it increases our ability to win. So the issue then becomes circle, really. In this one, we got relatively lucky. The circle stayed with us in the circle for some time. Basically, you're going to move from high ground to high ground with the helicopter whilst you can. Crucially, trying to keep to inaccessible high ground. So this one, relatively straightforward. We're going to move from airport control tower to the roof of airport and basically carry on the same process. I like to pick up a bounty whenever I see them once I'm into this, mostly because it acts as a UAV. I mean, you could go get UAVs from the buy stations as part of this, but they're not necessary. You don't need to spam loads of UAVs. You can snipe and do what you want. I mean, frankly, you could lie down and do nothing if you wanted with this tactic. I just think it's a bit boring, so we do try and do a little bit with it. We're not completely inactive, as you can see. We're going to move around, but as the gas closes in and forces us off high ground, this is where really the tactic starts to play in. You're going to keep the helicopter. You'll have seen part of the tactic, and you'll see in the next video as well, part of the tactic is also trying to destroy as many other helicopters, because you want to limit the amount of people who can reach you, the amount of people who can do the same thing. So we do try and go out of our way to destroy other helicopters, take other helicopters. Sometimes we'll have 2 helicopters if we can. And now comes to really the toxic element of it. By this stage of the game, there aren't many players left. As you can see in this one, there are 11 players left in this circle. We're going to fly around. They can shoot us, but the circle's quite small. We're not the immediate threat, and they're going to end up fighting each other. Most players by this point are not running launchers that can lock on. We'll get engaged. You see, we got RPG. People will shoot at the helicopter. We're down to, at this point, one other team. And this is the point where you really want to get to with this tactic. This team knows what we're doing. They start shooting the helicopter off. You've got to try and keep the helicopter health as high as you can up until this point, and we drop it. The advantage is sometimes you can drop the helicopter on people, sometimes you can't. It's not exactly a science with it. But we got lucky as well, because the circle returned back over to airport, keeping us onto the high ground, which allowed us to stay pretty much out of it. What we're looking to do is let the gas do the hard work for us. This, if we get down into the ground trying to hunt these players out in this size of circle in this area, we're not likely to give ourselves the best opportunity to win. We've got gas masks and we're going to use them. So the plan is we'll let the circle come in and make our decisions as we go along. This one was easy for us because we go from airport to the top of here. We got shot at, and we're then on top of the airport car park. Absolutely fine, keeping the same position. We're keeping control here. And what I think happens is, as you'll see, that circle's slowly moving across to this new final circle, but it's keeping us on the high ground, and it gets just on the edge of it, allows us to get it. And I think what happened is they were right on the bottom ground, and effectively the gas by this point had blocked off their access points. They could probably do it. Maybe they didn't have gas masks, maybe they didn't have enough, but they maybe could have run. You could just about hear them coughing and spluttering down the bottom, and they just simply don't make it, and that's how we win. Now, I'm not convinced that's the best way of winning. It almost certainly isn't, but it's how you can win at Warzone. And I'm just going to show you. It's not a one-off. We've managed to do it several times. So I'm going to give you a second video, basically setting out the same thing. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is it a toxic way to win? Is it just using the game mechanics to win? They give us the helicopters. They give us gas masks. Is this, a legitimate way of doing it? Let me know what you think. This one, the second one, basically we're going to start with the same tactic, except this time we go separate ways. We go and get 2 helicopters because of the flight path. I jump late for the military base helicopter. That's pretty much favourite for us at the moment. So please don't try and use it in the lobbies we're in. Military base used to be a really hot drop, but generally nowadays isn't as hot as it used to be. So it's been quite good. We can grab the helicopters and generally loot out the hangars at the edge. In relative safety, sometimes we do get in some serious engagements around it, but this one, yeah, we loot them out, grab the most wanted. Again, we're after the cash, so generally we can get a decent chunk of cash. We didn't get that much actually out of the hangars this time, as you see, only $800 each, but because we've got our most wanted and also a bounty contract on us, there's the opportunity to make enough money to get our loadout. What happens here is we get another team land on airport with their helicopter. We've got floor loot weapons, not really going to make long distance shots, take that team out, but we decide what we're going to do is take out the helicopter. It takes away a direct threat to us, because another helicopter makes it easier for people to drop in above us, and other people to use the same tactic as us. Take out the helicopter, get our cash anyway, our most wanted comes in, and then boom, we've got enough money for our loadout. Again, not vital if you don't want 2 loadouts. Me, I'm a bit greedy and I want my 2 loadouts because I want my 2 primary overkill weapons. You could do pretty much the same tactic if you wanted to. This one we went across to what a buy station thought was going to be okay, and in fact people were sitting on top of a police station, and so we had to back off. The problem with the helicopter is you can't, in this case we were using 2 of us, it's not the easiest to land without causing loads of damage, and it takes quite a while to land, and so that's what you need to bear in mind if you're going to try and send other people's positions. Because remember that part of the game is you've got to keep the health of the helicopter, or at least one helicopter's health up for the final circle, because people are going to shoot at you in order to get you down. Grabbed our second loadout. Back again on top of airport control tower. Again, this circle allowed us to do this. There are other places we'll choose. Inaccessible is ideal. If it is accessible, preference is 1 access point, because that way at least you can control it to some degree. Anything with multiple access points is a bit of a problem. But back to the gameplay here. We're loaded up, pretty much got ourselves fully kitted out. And for it, the plan then, we spotted there was still a helicopter available over in Boneyard, so we left one behind and took this one. Both helicopters we had originally actually got quite beat up, so we wanted a fresh helicopter for the end. We will destroy one and then we'll keep hold of the 2. And again, the usual thing, this is the engagement we got to from the top, and got a bit narrow focus on this because we got stuck with that engagement and hadn't realised the gas had come in so close. So got to take a risk, got to jump off and get picked up. Again, straight to roof of airport in this one. Again, depending on the circle, it's effectively the same tactic. You can use stadium for it, you can use the roofs of downtown for it. Crucially, what you don't want to be is too overlooked. You want to control the access points. You want to basically keep yourself safe until it gets to the point where you've got no choice but to fly around because of the circle. In this one, we swapped weapons. I took the RPG on the view that we're going to have a circle that looks like it's going to be pretty much over open ground, and I can use the RPG to try and take out some opponents, but I totally failed at that, so it didn't really work, not necessary. And again, the same tactic in place. What we do is fly around. Here I've just sped up the footage and you see people take pot shots at us. You get a bit of damage. In games, which I'm not showing you, where I've lost, and I have lost, you do lose doing this. Really good snipers will pick you out of the sky, So you need to have a pretty decent pilot. You've got to keep on moving, make sure the aim's pretty difficult. Again, same tactic. We allow the teams below us to fight each other until they're down to the last team, because that way you're not having to get into the thick of it. Again, same thing. Team tries to take us out, but pretty much they stop. I'm not entirely sure why. Until the circle's absolutely tiny, which is at this point. The advantage at this point is you can actually drop the helicopter and use it as its own weapon. It doesn't always drop straight, but you can have a crack at it. Circle completely closed, there's no gas, but because we could hold on to the very tiny, smallest part of the circle until it does so, again with the gas masks, we can outlive the enemy and win. So there you go, 2, I think, relatively toxic ways of winning Warzone. But let me know what you think. Is it okay? Is it not okay? Leave me a like, give me a subscribe if you like the content, and see me in the next videos. Check them out. Thanks.